So Dygmates, get ready for the latest news on the Dygma Defy. We'll take you to a comprehensive review of the keyboard's manufacturing status, covering everything from top to bottom. We'll talk about what we found in the golden samples of the keycaps and the palm pads. We'll explain the implications of the manufacturing process of the aluminum top panels. We'll also go through the development and production of different components of the base and the tenting. And finally, we'll talk about a tricky subject, the electronics. Are you ready? Let's go! Keycaps. We received the golden samples in white and black and are delighted with the paint and the accuracy of the laser etching. The light is incredible. However, we found a minor defect in one of the thumb keys, a wrinkle on the paint in the corner. At first, we thought it was a problem with the paint, but it turned out it was a problem with the mold. The supplier already fixed the mold and sent us new samples. As soon as we validate them, we'll start production. Palm pads. We have also received the golden sample, which includes the latest changes to the mold of the base. Everything is as we expected, so we've given the green light to start production. We're thrilled about these new magnetic palm pads. They're super soft and cool, literally, and how they snap to the keyboard is so satisfying. Top panel. The aluminum top panel is the crown jewel of all the components. Manufacturing the top panels is a fascinating mixture of industrial and manual techniques, making each top panel unique. This artisan process also means that some top panels present tiny oddities around the perimeter. They're only noticeable under certain lighting conditions, and mainly on the silver keyboards. But either way, we have hired a new expert polisher to make sure each top panel is a work of art. We've received the golden samples this week, 5 sets of each color, and once they're validated, we'll start manufacturing. As with every component, we'll make a first run of about 200 and then proceed with the rest. Base. The base is one of the components we're still working on, but fortunately, plastic injection products are pretty fast to manufacture, so we have more time to make it perfect. We have already received a new sample with adjustments on the hinge, and we are waiting on the golden sample. It'll have some dimensional changes on the perimeter and the slot for the neuron, so that the experience of sliding it in feels perfect. The diffuser for the underglow has also been validated and ready for production, but we're waiting for the base to make them all at once. Tenting. We have received a new set of aluminum legs without paint on the stems. If you want to know more about how those 0.1 millimeters of paint drove us crazy, check out this other video. We have validated the adjustment with the legs, but we're waiting on the final small rods. We've made them more rigid and a bit wider. Once we receive them, we'll do a final test of the stability of all the tenting angles. Once that's green lighted, we'll also move into manufacturing. Finally, we've also received the golden sample of the side legs and the reversed tilting legs. Now the way they snap into place is precisely how we wanted it. Nice. Electronics. This is where things get tricky. A couple of months ago, we had an unexpected hiccup. We took the wired version to pass a new certification test, now with SPI communications instead of I2C, and it failed. We had emissions on the cables. To fix it, we had to modify the key scanner PCBs shared by the wired and wireless versions, and also find new cables. This meant that we had to make new design validation tests for those PCBs, but most importantly, it took up huge resources from the electronics team. The good news is that the new PCB design is validated, but as a result, the different jigs required for mass producing the PCBs won't be ready until late April. How does this affect our timeline? Our plan was to have the first production runs of all the components ready by early April. We would then assemble a first batch of 100 keyboards for that month and then ship them in May. For the big batch, we would assemble them in May and ship them throughout July. However, the first first batch of electronics won't be ready until mid-May, and the rest by the end of the month. That means that those 100 early delivery keyboards will be assembled in May and shipped in the second half of June. As for the rest of the keyboards, we'll assemble them in June and ship them throughout late July and August. It's a bit of a bummer because we were thrilled to start assembling and shipping the first units soon, but we believe it's not worth rushing something as important as the electronics. It goes without saying that we are completely grateful for all of your support. I can't stress how wonderful it is having you all along in this journey. Really, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Next, we'll talk about the woman that can communicate with the dead by singing ABBA songs backwards, and the scientist that discovered that cheese can talk and it's demanding equal rights. Stay tuned!